Namaste everyone. Welcome back to my channel IndigoAngel. Welcome if you're new, and thank you for your continued love and support of my channel. Today I have a galactic energy update. This is post the autumn equinox but pre-new moon, and we are well on into our way into the electric moon of service, which is the third tone in the Mayan calendar, which is all about activating, bonding, and service. This is considered a Trinity tone, so this is going to be bringing in more of a Trinity wave consciousness, so less bipolar waves, and more coming into harmony, more coming into unity. And this is all after we went through this major planetary reset of balancing the entire planet's energy, essentially. So for me, the autumn equinox triggered major ascension symptoms. I'm just wondering if anybody else was really feeling that. It's kind of partly the reason why I took the last week off, not posting any videos, as I was really going through major transduction processes, which is just another fancy word for integration. But essentially I feel that we had integrated major stellar wave infusions from the pre-matter partakai, which is where our bodies are actually accelerating in a process of fission and fusion, where you are having to merge a lot from the antiparticle to the particle. And so it's all process of materialization and manifestation, but essentially during that equinox, we were blasted for what I like to call a 3-day particle conversion, which is where you are just completely taken out, and all you can really do is, care for the light body, care for your, overall health, and, really just kind of slow down and take time to integrate that, because you're about to receive a major boost, a major acceleration in quantum energy. Essentially, we will be going through another mini 3-day particle conversion because we're going to be getting blasted again right before the new moon on the 28th. We're going to be having a galactic activation portal day right before we come into that new moon. So be prepared to go through another transduction process where you integrate more of that higher photonic energy. I know when I'm going through these processes, I can literally feel my light body activate. I feel like I'm glowing. I feel like I'm inflamed. I feel like I can feel everything. I feel transparent. I feel translucent. I feel energy basically passing through me as if I am a holographic structure. And in that time, you'll notice that you have a lot of encoding. You'll have a lot of breaking down of your geometrics. So you are actually expanding inside, but it feels like you are contracting. And this is all natural processes of ascending and descending within that wave of cosmic energy that comes in from the planet. And this is where all of your DNA re-encodes, reconstructs, reconfigures. You're going through geometric breakdown and reconfiguration, which is ultimately bringing forth new timelines, new realities, and you're manifesting and materializing new vibration. Everything is changing. So the constant is that nothing is constant, right? And essentially, so you may have felt a higher vibration, but overall, the oscillation in the body is lower. We are less electrical. We're going through more contraction. We're at a lower frequency. We're at longer wavelengths, but we're at faster electron spins. So we were in more of a density. So I would say over the period of the equinox, we were definitely in lower dimensional fields 1 through 8. But we will be getting a boost. We're going to be receiving a boost here as we come more into that Trinity electric tone, okay? And as that happens, you're going to feel more merging of your universal, celestial, planetary, and your biological systems. All of that together being hosted in your body. That's kind of what I'm feeling, is I'm being shown several radial light sources that have been activating and are continuing to activate into this electric moon of service. Okay, so as we come through the new moon, we are going to be integrating or transducting. And when I talk about transduction, this is my new word I'm using, but it is a a word encoded in higher light intelligence. So be rest assured that it's only expanding your consciousness as we say this awesome word transduction, right? I actually have the processes of transduction here. Okay, so this is where consciousness comes in to the biological form, and it transducts to Partiki units, and the Partiki units actually manifest through that Cathara scalar grid. And the Cathara scalar grid is this right here. So this is the base template to your light body. This is the first level of your light body. This is considered the 12 tree grid core scalar template. This is what all consciousness comes through as the base radial manifestation template to materialize. So this is all a part of the processes of transduction, but everything comes through the Cathara first, and then comes through the chakra systems, which is level 2 of the light body. But essentially, yes, so everything is coming through that scalar grid, and then it converts into the morphogenetic field and into your Merkaba field, and then it goes to the DNA, the RNA, and to the bioenergetic auric field, and then it actually manifests into the biological structures of the body, the rhythms, the blood, the brain, chemicals, hormones, organs, tissues, all of those things. So these are the actual quantum processes of integrating galactic energy. So it's really fun to talk about. I love getting into this quantum nature of our galactic consciousness. But essentially, a lot of the radial light sources that I was being shown or activating are high Lyran Photonics, Cygnus, Libra, Arcturus, integration always from the meta-galactic core. And right now we're going to be experiencing more of those meta-galactic core energies as the entire solar system is going through transduction processes because of our location within the Milky Way right now. We are at the highest point in the Milky Way. We are the closest to the meta-galactic core. So right now the entire galaxy is going through transduction processes, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. But essentially, we're integrating very high Vecca encodement in mechanics. So as we go more and more and more within the Vecca encodement, which is within the bones, within the 144 genetics of the body, we're going to be bringing through more of these master Templar mechanics, which are really getting into the complex structures of the light body and beginning to work with those from a level of supreme mastery. And it's really, really amazing. These are all amazing processes that are happening. Many of you are activating to this level within the body. And as you activate more of those master Templar mechanics, you're going to be bringing in more of the planetary biofeed interface system, which is where you're merging your personal Cathara system with the planetary Cathara system. So a lot is going on. Also, I was seeing that the Mother Arc is coming through. So Mother Arc activations are going to start amping up. You may see this a lot on Facebook, YouTube, Mother Arc activations, which is a major grid activation. So that's why I have my map here today, guys, is basically this would be Uluru, Australia, and Bali. So Ayers Rock here in the corner, if you can see it. I don't think you can. Let me scoot this over just a little bit. My little deal. So the Mother Arc activations will come through Ayers Rock, Australia, and also Bali. These are both planetary Arc of the Covenant stargates. So all of the planetary Arc of the Covenant stargates communicate with other gates. This is a networking system. The entire planet is a networking system through the ley lines, the horizontal lines, and the grid network. And essentially, yes, so most of these Mother Arc activations do come through this location here. This brings through the aquamarine light encodement, and this is the 12th dimensional shield of Aramatena. So I've been receiving transmissions, downloads that the shield of Aramatena is completely activated at this time, which means that the entire planet is basically lit up. That means all 12 planetary Stargate grid sites and all 12 planetary Ark of the Covenant stargates and all 24 Templar Q sites are currently activated. And when the 12D shield of Aramatena anchors in the Christos blueprint, okay, this is when the time vectors come online to the probable future where all of these realignments have already occurred. So some of you are merging with your parallel selves and you're being allowed to see the future alignments that have already occurred. And some of us do kind of sometimes take this into a place of fear. So I'll get a lot of people that will come to me and come to me with cataclysm probabilities of the planet. I just want to rest assure that if you are having cataclysm probabilities come to you in your consciousness, come to you through God's source consciousness, just know that you are being showed a multi-dimensional spectrum of probabilities, and it is up to us to not attach to those probabilities because there are so many constant variable factors that are playing out in every moment that I receive cataclysm probabilities all of the time. And I have to choose not to feed that probable timeline because they always usually never come true because universal energy, universal quantum will naturally always shift into the timeline that is in the best interest of the greater good. That is the nature of the universal energy. It will always manifest to the nature of the greater good of the whole. And so these more cataclysmic probabilities are pushed back later and later and later and later, and they do not typically manifest. So, you know, we all got scared in 2013. 2013 was supposed to be the end of humanity. It was supposed to be, our doomsday, essentially, but it did not manifest. Universal consciousness, prime creator consciousness came through for the greater good of the whole. And so these cataclysmic timelines do seem to get pushed out further and further and further into the timeline of the planet. And so for those of you who are going down a gloom and doom, and the only reason I'm taking time to acknowledge this right now is because I've been approached with a lot of like fear-based other healers and people that are coming across information where people are saying 2022 or, you know, however much long we have on the planet. I'm hearing that the gates are closing. I'm going to address that in a minute. But essentially, I just want you to not focus on those cataclysmic timelines if you can, because yes, they typically don't manifest. They typically do not manifest. We're always given a chance. God's source is always given a chance within the free will spectrum of the universal laws for us to make better choices and to do what's best for the whole, because we are all loved on the greater scale. Gaia loves everybody on this planet, regardless of your genetic species, regardless of your race lineage, regardless of the ascension codes that you hold. This is a living library of anything goes. And so, yes, we're just going to roll with that. Essentially, we are receiving major encodements of future alignments according to the Christos blueprint that have already occurred. So many of you are being able to see through that parallel reality. Many of you are being able to see through all 12 Stargate grid sites and the Templar Q sites that are activated as well. And we are going to be continuing to receive several rounds of stellar activation cycles and effusions within the planetary shields. And if any of you don't know about this map, I've done lots of other videos with my map. I'm in love with my map, for those of you who know me, but I've listed in several other videos all of the Stargate grid sites, all of the Templar Q sites within the planetary shield. But today I'm just going to talk about a few of them because of the high Lyran photonic energy that is integrating. So the Lyran Stargate planetarily does stronghold 3 major Stargate grid locations, and that would be Montségur, France. Okay, so that's going to be here. and its strongholds South England. So South England is going to be, it's going to be here. And then also Abadan, Iran. So we have Abadan, Iran, South England, and Montségur, France. All three of these are simply the Lyran gate sites that are strong held. And then also each one of these specific universal Stargate grid sites activate what is called a Q site. So this is more on the subharmonic frequencies within the planet, but this is Kauai, Hawaii. Okay, so Kauai, Hawaii is going to be here. And a Q site is simply where there's, if you can see this, a Q site is simply where intersecting horizontal lines come together. This is an inner Earth Q site. So this is where one can actually access the core gate, the inner spanner gates, to access the Aurora platform. So this is all linked together. These are all linking systems. They're like, you know, they're like a transit map of how we can navigate through the planet. And essentially Kauai, Hawaii, also Ireland, the Irish Sea. So I believe that's here. These major inner Earth Q sites here in Ireland. And then also Al-Bash Radag, which is here. Which is here. So this is Al-Bash Radag. And this is an inner Earth Q site. So in combination of the 3 inner Earth Q sites and the 3 Stargate grid locations, essentially each one of these sites are connected through also our human biological Cathara systems. So this would be linking planetary Cathara systems and celestial Cathara systems that link time cycles to the next neighboring time cycle matrices. So many of you, like I said, and it all is aligning through that electric tone in the mind, that we are being brought out of that bipolar wave into that trinity wave. This will be very heightened within this time cell. And this is what I mean when you're interlinking those planetary gates. According to the Stargate and according to the planetary grid site, is they link and merge at the inner planetary core gate. There is actually a planetary Merkaba structure. It's not in this picture, but it opens here, and this is how one can merge these systems together through visualization. This is all a process of visualizing as well. And it's one way that you can begin to link your bodily structure to the systems of the planet, so you can begin to experience these celestial energies in accordance to the grid sites and gate sites. And yes, and it's all interwoven through the morphogenetic field of the planet. And this is an organic connection, guys. This is all natural. This is natural healing. There's a lot of healing that can come from linking your Cathara with the planetary Cathara as you are receiving transmissions from very sacred, very powerful sites, all within the structures of your body, no matter where you are on the planet, no matter where you're standing on the planet. It doesn't matter. You can receive these transmissions from these sacred sites. But all of the sites are on this map, and this is what is called the Halls of Amenti Planetary Interface Gate Map, and it includes all of the axiom ley lines, Stargate grid alignments. It does include the 23.5 pole tilts, and it includes so many things that I really could just make video after video after video describing all of the anatomy to the map. But this is essentially what will, connect you into the contracting and expanding inside of the planet's morphogenetic field inside of the spheres of Amenti. meaning that when you do this, not only are you coming to the perception that you've activated your fourth dimensional light body, right, as you come into that experience, but you are also linking with the planetary's fourth dimensional light body that's hosted inside of the spheres of Amenti. And I just want to confirm that these gates are currently open. They've been progressively becoming more and more open since 2013, but if there's anyone running around saying that these gates are closed, I just want to let y'all know from somebody who sees and feels into the planetary gates, these gates are open and they are going to be held open for the next 200 years. And this is a part of the Guardian Network. The Guardian Network is holding and hosting open these gate sites. They are here to see the ascension process through to the last ship pickup if it comes down to this, guys. Okay, so some gates might be taken over by, you know, the negative alien agendas. Some gates might be taken over by the Nibirian crystal temple bases, things of this nature. But if you have your ascension codes up in the body, 12 to 24 strands, these gates are not closed. And even if you don't have your ascension codes up, I just want to rest assure you that there are other Trinity gate sites. I made a video on this about the Trinity gates. These are hosted for those who have not even activated fourth dimensional strand. So everybody has a way to access the planet for when the time comes, right? And if anyone needs to know what these gates are actually used for, we're always talking about within the galactic spectrum, within the energetic spectrum, we're always talking about integration processes, transduction processes, how to manifest, right? But there are processes of dematerialization, and these will encompass all of the reincarnation cycles and further ascension development post your current life cycle. And they are for the processes of transfiguration. So if one learns to essentially access and their eternal life atoms within the body, this can also be used for planetary bilocation, transfiguration, and you can also access these gate sites for these processes as well. So yes, ultimately, we are all on a mission of getting the ascension codes up in the body, and that should be the primary genetic line's priority that has experienced time waves outside of the Metatronic time wave and outside of the frequency fences. So if you are existing outside of the Metatronic time wave, even in glimpses, even in phases of your time and space spent experiencing life experience, and you're existing outside of the frequency limitations, which is gender manipulation, scattered, DNA, psychotronic warfare, scalar impulse testing, all of these things that are happening, the goal should be to get that time wave reset according to your genetic encoding. And that is something that I am going to talk about in a later video. It's kind of relevant here, and I'm just kind of rambling to you guys, but yes, so the time waves is something I definitely want to get into on my channel. It might be my next video. Right now I'm not completely prepared how to talk about the time waves, because it is going to be bursting a big spiritual bubble as far as third 3D to 50 perceptions within the spiritual community. And that's another message I've been receiving, is that those belief systems and timelines are going to be falling away from the belief structures of the spiritual community due to the entire anatomy, the 12th dimensional anatomy of physical structure, and how time waves enter through the body, and how there are multiple time waves within time waves. So yes, some belief systems and structures are going to be falling away. So just know that the time wave thing, the Metatronic time wave according to genetic encoding, is something that I am going to talk about later on my channel, maybe my next video, we'll see. What I wanted to talk about was the materializing and the dematerializing on the planet. So the messages, the transduction, the integration, it's all initiated from the grid sites. Okay, then we go through the transduction processes into the biological form. The transduction processes are very complex. I'm gonna put this up here in the beginning, but I'm going to throw it up here again. The transduction processes are the primary access points at this time on the planet because there is a lot of blockages in vertical ascension. Many are blocked on the vertical ascension scale, and I'm going to show you guys what I mean. So this is the human body, and this is the Cathara transposed into the biological form, but essentially this is the vertical ascension column, and this is blocked for many on this planet. Okay, so many can't go vertical because of the blockages, correct? So if you are unable to ascend into these higher states due to blockages of vertical ascension, you have to access through the planetary grid. And these are becoming the primary access points at this time on the planet for radial interfacing, for seeding, and planetary ascension assistance. Okay, so you're going to hear about a lot of spiritual healers, energetic, people doing energy updates, things of that nature, talking about integration from a vertical ascension aspect where energy is coming down from, the sky, where it's integrating through our heliospheric atmosphere. That's all fine and dandy. That's all true, but the majority of this energy is coming from within the planetary Earth's core gate. It's coming up from beneath your feet. That is why you ascend and descend, and it's in a waveform up and down the vertical ascension column, is because you're ascending and descending, you're expanding and contracting within that vertical ascension column to integrate more of that higher identity level. And we are receiving these living transmissions that affect the ascension cycles through the planetary grid network mostly. Okay, so this is through the ley lines, the horizontal lines, letting us all know that the Earth's particle rotations are at an angular tilt. Okay, so some of you might be feeling that, and that is why we access the inner Earth at these inner Earth Q sites. Every single inner Earth Q site will be found at a horizontal ley line where they intersect. Okay, because of that 23.5 pole tilt, the planet's particle rotation is at an angular tilt within its biofield, all of its particle rotations, energetic structures are spinning at an angular tilt. So this is how you access the inner Earth gate sites. Okay, so aside from the coronal mass ejections, aside from the solar flares, and the integration from the ever-wearing heliosphere, because if you're paying attention to science, our heliosphere is weakening. Okay? That is why, the solar flares are becoming so much more intense. Even though we might be perceiving this integrating through the atmosphere, this is actually penetrating and integrating receiving these ever-increasing gamma bursts from our sun is coming from the inside of the planet. In the sun right now, the sun is currently separating from its Rasha body, which means that the gamma bursts will continue to increase. But essentially, the sun is currently separating from its Rasha body, so it has 15-dimensional rings, and it's separating from each one of those rings slowlier. So the gamma bursts are only going to continue to be more intense, and that is from the inside of the planet is where we feel it the most, up underneath our feet. This is going to be, increasing more in stellar activations, more particle conversions, more wave infusions, and this is going to be everybody on the planet. And everybody on the planet is going to be receiving this consistently, only ever increasing into 2022. So this is going to begin triggering entire toroidal field activations. As I said before, the shield of Aramatena is currently activated on the planet as we speak. This means that many will start coming into the awareness of the new dimensional field presences in their horizontal field. And this is the structures of their hova bodies. So this is major consciousness expansion because we have been stuck in a belief system of our chakra system, of a Merkaba, that is only on a vertical ascension scale, and now we're beginning to be able to see horizontal scales. And let me tell you what I mean by that. This is incredible stuff, guys. This is next level right here. Okay, so as you go horizontal in your awareness, in your consciousness, in your perceivability, and you have more toroidal field activation, you're able to start to see more cosmic structure within your bioenergetic field. And like I said, that shield of Aramatena is activating. What we are coming to experience are first, second, third, fourth, and fifth harmonic universes. And these are all held within the Hova bodies. So this is the horizontal plane of the light body. And essentially, the Hova bodies are hosting the higher identity levels that are in the higher harmonic universes. So our planet exists in three main formed identities in this particular universal time matrix, which is the Metatronic time matrix. This is the third dimensional Earth. It's called Earth, or you could call it Tara. 5D Earth is called Terra, and 7D Earth is called Gaia. You know, some different ET races and extra dimensionals will call them different things according to different dimensions. I've heard one name before called Urantia before, even depending on the language that they speak. But they are all, but everybody on planet Earth, you know, they're in different stages of the evolution in these timelines. These collective consciousness bodies exist on the planet Earth without the densities and our aspects of the future timelines and the light body of the planet Earth. These future timelines are what's being anchored in now. Remember, I told you everybody's through the shield of Aramatena, that parallel into the future timeline are being anchored. So it's all connected, it's all interconnected through the harmonic universes. Okay, so it's kind of a new perception, because it's taking you out of physical and planetary 12 to 15 dimensional spectrum of physical structure and pulling you into holographic structure. Harmonic universes is holographic structure, so just remember that. And essentially, these are all interfacing with human consciousness, with all of the life forms right now on this planet within these densities, and through that human bio interface system within the Kathara. That's stuff I all talk about, I all teach about on my Patreon, patreon.com/IndigoAngel. But essentially, what these Hova bodies do is they are, as you come into the God consciousness perceptions of Hova bodies, these are horizontal rings. Okay, so horizontal rings within the horizontal plane of the light body, and you will experience this within your biological form. These are more complex functionings of the light body, and they are experienced when one comes into the perception of horizontal ascension. And I keep talking about horizontal ascension because it's like, I'm excited about it. I'm so excited about it because it's like, oh my gosh, you know, because I've even been going up and down on the vertical ascension column for a long time, and it's like, wow, we're not just waving up and down anymore. The vertical ascension column, we're expanding and contracting horizontally within the field, and like I said, even angularly too. Angular perception of expansion, contraction, fission and fusion, materialization, dematerialization. That is how you access inner Earth Q sites, like I said before, but I'm not going to go back into that because I'm just repeating myself. But essentially, within each Hova body, you experience the harmonic universes. So first, second, and third dimensional Earth matrices are all within the first Hova body, and then you have the second harmonic universe, which is the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional existences of the Tara matrix system. So as you expand horizontally, you integrate the Tara matrix system. In the third harmonic universe, you experience 70, 80, and 90. This is within the Gaian matrix, okay? Here's where you enter that. And then you have the fourth and they all have names. The first one is the Nada Hova, the Alfie Hova, the Becha Hova, and the Mahara Hova. I don't think I said that one right. But essentially, in the fourth one, you have 10th dimensional, 11th dimensional, 12th dimensional existences of the 3 levels of the crystalline blueprint of the 12th gate of Aramatena. That's where that is held. And this is where, when you go horizontal, you can connect into that Aurora Earth matrix. Okay, so Aurora Earth matrix is the closest you're gonna get to the safety zone. Okay? What is the safety zone? Why do we need it? That's what I'm asking. In the fifth harmonic universe, you're going to, there's going to be no dimensionalization into matter form. So therefore, there is no planetary body or human forms in the fifth density, as the consciousness does not manifest into matter. This is called the pre-matter template. And here's where you can begin to experience fission and fusion and conversion of antiparticle to particle experiences. That is also where the mother arc is held, the father arc, and the Palladorian Christed cell light, the trinity of the Godhead, where all of the biological forms are created in all of the harmonic universes. Okay, so that's Vecca. That's also Vecca quantum. So all of this is basically bringing us all into a 15-dimensional spectrum of human anatomy of the light body. So yeah, guys, we're moving up. We're moving up in light intelligence, and this is boosting everybody's intellect. Everybody is going to start receiving these transmissions from a 15-dimensional spectrum. And then, like I said, I also seen that we are receiving a planetary reset of time waves, that the experience of the 3D to 5D ascension perception cycle is going to collapse. So that is in processes. It's in pre-processes. But essentially, what I'm being shown by Guardian Consciousness is that collectively, just a large collective has outgrown these perceptions. So they're living beyond the perceptions of these 3 to 5D beliefs constructs within the spiritual community, and that's going to collapse at some point. But I will get into that in another video, because I'm just not quite sure how to word it for everyone yet, because I know that I have to be gentle with that. But essentially, just know that all time perceptions are a genetic factor. So the time distortions, even within dimensional time distortions within the planet 3D to 5D belief systems, are genetic distortions in your relationship to time. So as you clear genetic distortions, as you go 144 within the Vecca system, you will clear that time distortion. So this is my message for you guys today. I hope that you really enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun talking about this one today, because I really feel like I was able to get out into words what I really needed to say to you guys. Sometimes I get really caught up in my head, and I have a really hard time getting this information out, because I'm just like, as crazy as it sounds, as I'm saying it, is how I literally sit with it inside myself. It's really hard to sort through sometimes, especially when I'm going through major ascension symptoms and I can't do anything else but just sit there and go through transduction processes. So I love you guys so much for staying committed to my channel and connected to my energy updates, and I will be back hopefully with a video on time waves, and hopefully with a video on the 3 to 5D ascension collapse. Also, I'm going to be putting out some reads on some Stargate systems and starseed origins. So I love you guys so much. Check out my Patreon, patreon.com/IndigoAngel. You can also check out my website if you'd like a starseed origin reading, IndigoAngel222.com. Go ahead and like up this video for me, guys. Help me get there. I love you so much, and have a beautiful day.